welcome to the Weekly Tax Update, episode 107, December 19th, 2025. If you need to find me, this is me. You can scan that QR code and a copy of all of my information will populate into the contacts of your phone, and at least you'll know where to find me. Some of this is a repeat, but it's important. So e-file shutdown is December 26th, 11:59 a.m., but I'm hearing that some of the providers are shutting down the 21st, the 22nd. So if you're relying on this 26th date, please, oh please, confirm with your provider when you can send your last return. What's the date and time that you can get that return in? Certainly, I would not be emailing anything. So effective December 24th, there's a new rule at the U.S. Post Office. This is a repeat, but it's important. So basically, applications, if you drop it into a mailbox, it won't be postmarked at the local facility any longer. It's only going to be when it gets to the sorting facility. Our local sorting facility has been closed for a number of years, so depending where your mail is going, it goes 90 miles north or 70 miles south, which, hint, usually means tomorrow morning that it's going to get a postmark. So very important here, a couple of thoughts. First, for important mail, you should be sending it certified mail, electronic return receipts. That's the one where you don't get the little green card back in the mail, but you can go online for 7 years and track it. So you should be spending that money, you should price it into all of your returns. Secondly, if you can't do that, don't want to do that, you should walk into a post office, have it hand canceled, hand it to the clerk, say, can you please hand cancel that for me? They will, if you ask nicely. Last thing is, for all of your clients, change your outbound documentation where you've got that pre-formed, we recommend certified mail. I would now put in big letters, postal change, and put this in here, link it to your website, whatever you're going to do. Make sure your clients are aware of this change. All right. PTIN renewal is December 31st. If you haven't done this already, take 5 minutes to do it now. The IRS says 15 minutes. It's really 5. If you already know what a WISP is, you're going to check that box. You're going to breeze through this. If you don't know what a WISP is, read up on that. Written Information Security Plan. Read up on that before you check the box. Your knowledge that a WISP exists applies even if you're an employee. So please, oh please. All right. There are enhanced features the last couple of years on the PTIN system. They can track your CE, or at least what you know if it's been uploaded or not. You can see, once you get to 50 tax returns, you can see how many you have filed this calendar year by the current year and the prior years. You'll see all the numbers filed in 2026. In some cases, you can send secure messages with the return preparer office of the Internal Revenue Service. And if you're an AFSP person, of course, you'll be able to track that you've passed the exam and that you have enough credits as well. Enrolled agent renewal, if you end in 4, 5, or 6, that's right now. I've given you the timeline. I won't bore you with it, but you want to get that done now before busy season. You don't want to wait till March and enroll this to renew, because if you do wait, you will be unenrolled until the new enrollment card comes. Make sure you enroll your renew on time, please. To get your renewal done, you need an active PTIN, 72 hours of CE over the previous 3 years. You have to have taken at least 16 each year. You need 2 credits of ethics each year. And there's a $140 fee to register. I've outlined the renewal process here if you need it. And I think you all probably already know what the requirements are for you have to take courses approved by the Internal Revenue Service from a provider approved by the Internal Revenue Service. You need those 2 hours of ethics. If you're a first time or first renewal for the enrolled agent exam, you didn't have it the whole 3 years of the previous cycle, there's special rules for what credits you need. You should take a look at that. And you do want to save those credits. The IRS can and does audit folks. We get those requests every so often. We also find that if you renew late, they want to see those certificates. They won't rely on what's in the PTIN database. So by all means, renew on time, please. We've already discussed. All right. I gave you a couple of important things here. The enrolled agent maintenance page at the IRS, Form 8554, which is what you at pay.gov, which is what you need to renew. And if you have any difficulty, there is a support hotline in Detroit. I hear that it's spotty to get through, like all IRS departments these days. So you might want to consider calling early. Allow extra time and call early. The IRS processing times are updated through last Friday. I haven't seen this Friday's numbers yet, but I wanted to give you a couple of important things. So they're still saying electronic returns that don't have any manual processing issues are getting processed within 21 days. Paper returns, I'll show you in a moment, they are varying. So original returns, they're currently processing November 2025 original returns and August 2025 amended returns. I haven't seen an amended return come back in less than 5 or 6 months lately. We do track when things go out, so I would be surprised if they're processing them that early, or what the definition of processing is right now, because that just might mean it's getting looked at and going into a queue. 1120 forms are, again, being processed within 21 days of submission. For paper returns, they are working on the October submissions. And for paper amended returns, the April submissions. April. So they are behind 8 months in processing amended corporate tax returns. For those of you that are sending them in and relying on them to populate to the transcript, don't count on it, right? You're going to need a year. Take a power of attorney, get it on file, make sure you follow up. If you're not a EA, CPA, AFSP, you know what? Get an 8821, put it on file. You can at least track the return, see where it is, make a call if you need to. Form 941, the originals, they're on time, September 2025. Amended returns, they're back 10 months. That still may be spillover from the ERTC mess. I'm not sure. 1041s, originals are being, as of September, and amended again as of March. Not stuff you want to be amending and waiting on. Form 2848, current processing time officially 1 day. We're seeing 2 business days, depending what time of day you send it. But that still beats with the way the phone calls are these days. We've made some decisions. We upload these things as soon as we get them. And pretty much we don't call if we don't have to. If we can wait the 2 days, we wait the 2 days and make sure that the transcripts populate into the tools we use, tax help software. It also allows us, if we do need to call, to not have to spend 10 or 12 minutes submitting the return, getting it authenticated. Form W7 is as of September 2025, good for them. Form 8802 residency certification is only back about 2 months. That's pretty good, but come January, they get overwhelmed again for next year's certifications. So they may get busier, and that date may quickly, that wait time may quickly increase. Form 1045, they are back 5 months. Form 1139, they are only back 1 month, 2 months. The most embarrassing thing in the Internal Revenue Service is the handling of identity theft applications. For individual identity thefts, they are behind 22 months. 22. I would hazard a guess that by the end of tax season, they will reach a full 2 years behind. It's just the volume that comes in this time of year. I think that's going to see you're going to see a shoot up. You're going to see a spike in the number of cases. Business theft, business identity theft affidavit, similarly disappointing. Form SS4s are 8 business days if you're faxing them in. Most of us are able to do them online. For the ones that we have had to fax in, we get a power of attorney, and you can call in. If you know the exact legal name and address that you used on it, you can call in. They will give you that third number. They'll give you the EIN number. Correspondence, individual correspondence is they're working on August submissions, business correspondence, the April submissions, everything else, June submissions. Now, I want to say the individual correspondence there with August, that's pretty good considering they lost pretty much 2 months worth of processing time. So that wouldn't be so unacceptable. It's still unacceptable, but always e-file if you can. Be aware of what the processing delays are, but then but follow up. We track a lot of these things now simply because we set the expectation with the client, and then I want to have the ability to go back and say, oh no, where is that? We do a lot of this electronically, but we also pick up the phone where need be. I like to call at night after dinner because here in the East Coast, I can call as late as 10 o'clock out west. And you can do generally 5 cases on a phone call. Sometimes the assister will tell you, I can only do 2. My manager says I can only do 2. Usually we refer to the Internal Revenue Manual and says the IRM says 5. What's your manager's name again? And then the next thing you know, we get our 5. So think about that too. All right, we're going to talk about some exciting things today, including cannabis, rescheduling, and some e-file modernization issues. So, boy, when I started teaching taxation of the legal marijuana industry 12 years ago, I never would have thought this day would happen. President Trump signed an executive order yesterday directing the federal agencies to move cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Schedule 1 under the Controlled Substances Act says that this stuff is so bad it has no possible medical benefits, even if under the supervision of a doctor. Heroin, mescaline, peyote, marijuana, all Schedule 1 drugs. Schedule 3 are drugs that are like, they really don't have a very high risk of dependency. So they're probably okay and certainly okay for medical use. So this rescheduling is acknowledging the value of medicine, acknowledging the value of how big an industry this has become as well. So as far as we know, this will be effective the day he signed it. Haven't seen the final information, the final paperwork yet. I am working on putting together a panel discussion for next week. So Section 280E prohibited businesses that were trafficking in Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 substances, narcotics, from deducting business expenses. They could deduct simply their cost of goods sold, and they could only deduct the cost of goods sold because constitutionally that was a return of capital. You can't tax people on the same money twice. Otherwise, I would think we would have had a 100% tax, no deductions. So putting it on Schedule 3 means it's the same as a pizzeria. It's if you're a licensed operator in full compliance with your state, you're going to deduct all of your expenses for federal purposes. More importantly, you're going to have, I was commenting about this online to someone. What else does that mean? Access to banking, access to accepting credit cards at a normal rate, the ability to use the U.S. Insurance system, ability to access the capital markets, go public, issue bonds. It's real game changer for how these businesses operate. We're moving them out of the shadows and into the mainstream and giving them the respectability that they've had from certain sectors. What hasn't changed? Recreational use remains illegal. Interstate commerce stays restricted. So there's still going to be some state-by-state regulatory compliance. So we're not 100% sure how that's going to work. They won't be able to regulate it out of existence, but they will be able to make it harder in some states than other states. So what are we going to do for if you have cannabis clients? You probably need to review their accounting, look at the non-deductible expenses, and look at how you're going to change their internal accounting to make sure that all of these things land on the P&L for tax purposes. Previously, some things could be prorated, some things into cost of goods sold, some things into the ordinary and necessary, and you lost the ordinary and necessary. Probably also in certain states, off the top of my head, Rhode Island, New York, Colorado, and Oregon and California, you were able to add back some part of the disallowed expenses, if not all of them, onto the state return. You're no longer going to do that. So you need to change the internal accounting in how you're tracking this stuff to make sure the federal return is done correctly. We're not recommending anyone change their 2025 estimates, but you might want to. And then, of course, the order is effective now, but we have no idea when the final reschedule is going to happen. So we're watching to see what happens. There are 2 open court cases. Despite the executive order, there are lawsuits about the way 280E was applied and how it's a penalty. So that'll apply to previous tax years. Michigan Court of Appeals are looking at other cannabis taxation issues. So again, the past isn't going to change. This isn't retroactive as far as we know. We're thinking it's going to be 2026 and forward. I'm not going to take you through the one big beautiful bill. I've already done plenty of updates, and there's plenty of other updates coming up. But we have a couple of significant retroactive tax relief issues where folks didn't adjust their withholding. They just couldn't. We didn't even have some of these rules until this month. So we quadrupled the SALT cap. Previously, since Tax Cut and Job Act, about 9% of taxpayers have itemized. That's probably going to reach closer to that 36% we had prior to Tax Cut and Job Act. Standard deductions go up a little bit more from where they were. We also have no tax on tips, no tax on certain overtime, and a new auto loan interest deduction, along with the $6,000 age 65 or older deduction. So the Treasury is estimating, the numbers are all over the place, but officially the average refund for 2026 should be about $1,000 higher than 2025, and that'll affect about 85% of taxpayers. Mind-boggling. So they're calling this the record refund season. Of course, all the charlatans, all the gurus out there are telling you what to do. I'm going to tell you that first they're going to come in with unreasonable expectations. I didn't get a chance to cut and paste it. There is a terrible social media post out there where this fellow says he can't wait for this tax season because 20% of his paychecks are not taxable because 32 hours makes you a full-time employee, and all the weeks he worked 40 hours, he's getting that big adjustment on his tax return. And I just roll my eyes at that. So this is what we're going to be contending with. My other concern, though, is just like when your children go from 16 to 17 and everyone is shocked that that tax refund changed, the same thing here. Next year, the refunds are likely going to go lower. So it's just something to prepare your clients for and say, hey, you had this benefit, this temporary benefit, right? It was 2025 was 1 year because of the withholding change. 26, 7, and 8, we have limited tax deductions that are going to leave. One of the things I always liked when I owned H&R Block offices is the cover page that went with the return listed a number of important things and said how much money they saved. I think it would be so great to be able to tell people you saved $200 from no tax on tips, $500 from no tax on overtime, $1,000 from the over age 65 deduction. Why? Those things are going to go away. So people don't get used to, I get this refund, I have this lower tax bill. Those things are all slated to go away. So the Affordable Care Act premium tax credits still expiring December 31st. They did try to have a vote. A couple of Republicans crossed the line, but they're not going to get the 60 votes they need, 6-0. So likely it's not going to happen. They did force the House Majority Leader to call for a vote in January. So hopefully they're going to vote on this They're going to vote in this 3-year extension. Hopefully they pass it. But again, legal authority for this is going to lapse on January 1st. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens to folks. Two big changes in e-file modernization. Form 709 and 709 NA are now both available for electronic filing on the modernized e-file system. The appraisals and valuation documentation are going to be able to be attached. So we're not going to be mailing these in. We're not going to be waiting 6 months or a year. Electronic funds, if they're due on a gift tax return, although that's rare, you'll be able to submit that with the return in compliance with the presidential order that we not pay by check any longer. And the validation checks are going to catch errors, hopefully before you submit, which will reduce reject rates. I looked in my software. This isn't functional yet. I expect all it is we're going to see the usual regular level of diagnostics and then e-file diagnostics added to it to make sure that it lines up and matches. I think this is great because I'm always terrified that 10 years from now, I'm going to find out that somebody didn't file 5 or 6 gift tax returns, and it makes a difference now, right? They died and they can't find the returns. They can't prove they were filed. I think this will be great. So, of course, the usual 24 to 48 hour processing for e-file. No paper, no stapling stuff together, no printing it out. For remote clients, you've got to mail that to them. You got to make sure they got it. You've got to make sure they sign it and mail it. Doesn't happen, right? So this will be a lot better for all of us because we're going to do it. They won't. Secure transactions, better calculations with verification. No lost returns in the mail anymore. And of course, we'll have that digital record that it went through. So I'm excited about this. We have a number of folks with life insurance trusts where we do gift tax returns. I'm really hoping the next step is Form 3520, foreign gift tax returns, that we'll be able to e-file those one day as well. So there's a new form that you might see, and I put this out to my international group, and even the attorneys came back and said, wait, what? So there's a new mandatory reporting form if you have foreign securities. It's required by the Department of the Treasury, but it's only if they send it to you to complete. So this is due March 6th, odd date. And it's going to cover certain assets, including foreign equities and debt securities you hold outside of a brokerage account. So I know who I'm worried about. We're going to get emails out to them and say, hey, by the way, if you get this letter, let me know right away. It's due in March. There's no extension. Mark Dombrowski once said to me, for those of you that know Mark, that Criminal Investigation Division always gives you these great records and about their high success rate. And what he said was, because they only do like 200 cases a year that they cherry pick. He said, so it's like Grenada. They pretty much are always going to win. They identified $10.6 billion in financial crimes, $4.5 billion of which were fraudulently related. They seized 2.35 petabytes, right? Petabytes of data for cryptocurrency and other digital money and laundering cases. Just amazing. So one of the things they looked at was this feeding our future fraud that was out there. So it was a pandemic relief case, relief abuse case. So it was a misappropriation of various federal funds that were designated for children's meal programs during the pandemic. So far, they've indicted 77 people for stealing the money. It's terrible stuff. Operational challenges at the IRS. So starting December 8th, the IRS has canceled most temporary hardship telework requests. So you can request, someone is sick in my family, I'm in a wheelchair for 6 weeks. They can make a request to work from home, and the service will typically grant it if they can make it work. The current administration has ordered everyone back to work in the office. But, and of course, there's a grievance from the union filing against it. But 25% of the IRS workforce has been reduced. We're feeling that. So there's knowledge gaps. There's smart people and people that have the keys to the kingdom that are not in the office. We're bringing them back. We've had 7 IRS commissioners this year, and now we have that CEO. He also runs Social Security. This has impacted service. We have longer wait times, inaccurate information, and unresolved cases. These are all operational challenges that we're going to see this year. Well, take a look at your cannabis client list if you have one, and you want to go back and start identifying the issues we talked about here, being prepared for the change in 280E, the going away. Benefit to you, you're going to have billable work. Benefit to your clients, they're going to have a substantially lower tax bill. Be careful. Some of these clients are already looking at stuff on TikTok and deciding that, hey, I don't have to pay. And they do. They still have to pay. Tax software is, you're going to be able to e-file Form 709, Form 709NA for non-resident aliens. Make sure your team is aware of that. Under the e-file mandates, you'd have to e-file those returns. For some of our clients where the husband and wife both file, and we're notifying them, this only came out in the past few days, we're notifying these folks that we will be e-filing the returns this year. I don't expect any pushback from that, because typically the response has been, why do I have to go wait in line and mail this thing? And of course, sometimes they have 2 gift tax returns. All right. And we talked about the foreign securities reporting check. Anybody we have with foreign securities, we're notifying them they may get a letter. The big takeaway here is, if you get the letter, let me know right away. There's a hard March 6th deadline in the filing. Thank you all for joining us. Merry Christmas. We won't be having a program next week. We will be back the first Friday of January. So thank you all again.